Okay, we are on. Let's wait for Instagram. Hi. Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to, wow, I got notifications going off everywhere. I'm on YouTube, I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram. It's all happening. Welcome to this week's installment of A Misfits Guide to Living. Can I just say I'm so grateful to be here with you guys every week. And it was interesting in starting these. I think this is maybe 2 months now I've been doing this. In the beginning, I was just like, oh, and because me and consistency, I don't know about you, but me and consistency, it's not really my thing. I'm kind of do something once and then like, I'm bored. But I really just, I love being here with you guys and seeing what I can contribute. So there you go. So this week's topic is what could change in your life if you stopped judging your body? Yeah. And, it's interesting because we've all learned to do it. We've all learned to have judgments of all sorts, whether that's with regards to your body, whether that's with your financial situation, whether that's in relationship, whether that's with whatever's going on in your life. But the thing is that you will only create more of what you judge. You will only create more of what you judge. So the judgment in your life or the judgment that you have with your body, it solidifies everything. It just basically stops anything that the universe can contribute to you beyond that judgment. And so there's a few things with this, but because first of all, you would, I would say one of the top questions, that comes out when we're talking about judgment is, okay, how do I stop it? Well, first of all, you have to have a desire and a willingness to have something different. So it's not about noticing where you have these judgments and then judging yourself for having it and then trying to use force to overcome it. What I've found in my life, and is a much softer way in dealing with this, is first of all, acknowledge that you have the judgment. So let's say with your body, since we're on topic, we'll see where we go with that. But let's say with your body, like if you look at what's out there in the world right now with creating your body, there is 8,000 different exercise plans. There is 8,000 different meal plans. There are 8,000 different, well, more than 8,000 different medications for whatever symptom or problem that you have going on. But basically, this reality's idea of creating your body is what's the problem and what's the symptom and how do we overcome it? What's the answer we need to find in order to beat this or to change this, rather than what's the awareness here? And see, that's the other thing that we do with judgment. If you've got, well, let me say this, one of the tools that we have in Access Consciousness, and it was one of the first tools that I got when I started, was who does this belong to? The way this tool works is, well, the awareness of it first is 98% at least of your thoughts, feelings, emotions, stuff going on with your body, pain, judgments, all of those different things. 98% of that doesn't belong to you. It's actually you picking it up from the world around you. When I first heard this tool, I was like, holy shit, this sums up my life. And so, first of all, how many of the judgments that you have of you, how many of the judgments that you've bought as real and true and keep perpetrating, keep believing that are yours, are not yours to begin with? So if that lightens up at all, here's what you want to do. Return it to sender with consciousness attached. And then everything I created or uncreated as a result of that, hello, beautiful people. I see your messages. Well, you destroy and uncreate it all. Times it goes in, right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all 100, shorts, boys, perverts, creations, bases, and beyond. I got to read this comment because it's funny. Hello, Brendon. I like your new image. It's like Jesus. Well, yeah, I'm going for the, I'm going for that guru look. That's what's happening. I'm kidding. but I was texting. I put this video in a thread with a lot of the other CFs, certified facilitators of access consciousness, and one of them was like, "Am I the only one that can't stop looking at the beard?" You know, and she said she said this quote about Moses, and I was like, "So now I got Moses and Jesus going on all in the same day." It's like, yes, how does it get any better than that? So this thing with judgment, okay, so that first tool of who does it belong to, okay, and then with having a lot less of the judgment in your life is, first of all, how much do we avoid the areas in your life that you judge, whether it's with your body, again, relationships, money, sex, business, family, your future, not seeming to be able to create your life, just all of those things that come up. How much do you try and hide yourself or keep those judgments hidden as a way of having less judgment? But notice that it never seems to work, because anything that you avoid acts like a magnet, continuously pulling your energy to it until you'll buy into it again and start living from that space or lack thereof. So everything that brings up times a godzillion will you destroy and uncreate it. Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all 100, shorts, boys, povads, creations, bases, and beyonds. Okay, again, if you're just jumping onto these things and you're like, clearing statement, yes, that weird bunch of words, check out theclearingstatement.com. It's awesome video, and it really explains what this is and how you can use it also. Because I would like to give you guys as many tools as I can to use in your life, basically the tools that you can actually use with everything. So this, with getting out of judgment, what if you could actually just be present with where the judgments are? Okay, so if it's with your body, wow, I have a lot of judgments of my body. I have a lot of judgments with my body. Okay, and being with that and going, okay, so first of all, acknowledging it. Second of all, a question of, okay, what's it going to take for me to change this? And just even get a sense of that, asking that question. What would it be like for you to wake up in the morning and actually have a sense of space with your body? Have the things that you would like to be different with it, but know that judgment is not the way you're going to get there. So you're like, okay, hi body, good morning. What's it going to take to change this? Not, oh my God, what's wrong with me and how do I fix this? So I want to tell you guys this because it's been so helpful for me just in the last 24 hours. I recorded a podcast from my new podcast that I have that we launched a week or a couple of weeks ago. It's called What's the Value of Addiction? And I had Gary Douglas on as a guest yesterday, which you'll be getting that episode, I think, in a couple of weeks from now. So I'm just going to tease you with talking about it. But one of the things I was talking to him about was, I was like, hey, I wonder if we can look at this. Like, one of the things I seem to struggle with still is being really honest with myself, like being really honest with the areas of my life that I have a lot of judgment, being really honest with myself where I might have projections and expectations of other people, or make something else beyond and outside of me the source for my life rather than me, but being really honest with that. And the thing that he said, which was just so beautiful, he started with, he was like, I struggle with that every day too. And I was like, you do? What do you mean? And he was like, and he gave this example of a situation that he had going on in his world where he had this expectation of somebody else. And he was like, and I had to look at where I was doing that and what it was creating. And then look at, okay, is that really what I desire to create, or is there a different choice that I could make? I bring that up because what if you didn't have to hide from anything? What if it's okay to go, you know what? Yeah, I got judgments in my life. I got judgments with my body. I got these judgments going on, but then each and every day can be a new beginning with, okay, what would I like to be different with this? What choice could I make that would create a different possibility here that I've not been making? What have I decided is real and true about me with regards to this that I keep proving is real and true rather than choosing something different? And notice just the space with that, you start getting to have a lot more kindness for you. So everything that all brings up, will you destroy and uncreate it all? Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and poc, all 100, shorts, boys, povads, creations, bases, and beyonds. And it was interesting when he said it because I was like, oh my God, that makes it easier. Like, how many of you have things that you have as, and I say struggle, I say that because for me, it might be, I use the word struggle because I knew it was an area of my life that I had judgment of myself with regards to. Like, I always wanted to have honesty with myself. And man, have I gotten there a lot further along the path than I was even a few years ago. But I would always look to judge what I don't have rather than look to what I have and be grateful for that. And so this is another really helpful tool in getting out of judgment, is recognizing that judgment and gratitude cannot coexist. Okay, they can't go together. So anywhere that you have judgment of you, you can't have gratitude. Anywhere you can't have gratitude, you don't have allowance, you don't have peace, you don't have receiving, you don't have any of that lightness that creates living as a beautiful expression for you. So, in other words, stop judgment. So everything that is times a godzillion, we destroy and uncreate it all. Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and poc, all 100, shorts, boys, povads, creations, bases, and beyonds. And so if you had what would it be like? And I guess what would it take for you to have a lot more kindness for you? For those of you who weren't on Dr. Dane Here's live that he just did, I highly suggest listening to that. And that's, I'm a little, he basically finished up just before we started this live. And I was like, well, there goes my brain. But he really spoke to the energy of a lot of the different things that a lot of us learned as tools that do not work to create the life that does not work for you. And so if you've got something in your life, got something going on with your body, got something just that's not making you any lighter in your world, you have been misinformed about how to create it. Okay, so notice with that, because what's the first thing that you do when something's not working the way you think it should work? For most of us, it is to go to judgment. What's wrong with me that makes this not work? Not what's wrong with the way that I'm creating this that is not true for me, that doesn't allow me to actually be present with what will work. So that it's one of the things I love so much about Access is it's about empowering you to know what's actually true for you. So rather than have to go through your life anymore judging everything that you choose, comparing yourself to others, trying to find the answer, trying to get your life right, knowing that you can just be present in each moment and go, oh, wow. And as you start asking for things, like let's say with this as an example, with getting you a lot more out of judgment, first of all, ask for it. Okay, so what's it going to take for me to actually get to gratitude with this? What's it going to take for me to stop judging myself in this area of my life? And then that, even as a question, begins the universe contributing to that request. And then you start noticing, and here's the interesting thing that I've, another thing that's shown up a lot for me over the years, and it took me a while to really get how this was a contribution, not more of the shit show showing up that I was trying to change. So you will ask for something like that. Like, let's say, okay, so what's it going to take for me to get out of judgment of me in this area of my life, or just get out of judgment? And then you ask for it, and then you notice you start going, start living your life, and more of these judgments start showing up, and you're going, what is going on? Why do I seem to be more in judgment of myself now than I was before I asked that question? Well, when you ask the question, the limitation that you desire to change, it oftentimes seems to become more intense, because now you have the awareness of you being present with it enough to actually change it. So just know, when you're asking for anything to be different, if it shows up and it starts seeming as if it's getting more intense in your world, okay, so is this showing up the way it is now so that I can actually change it? What do I need to be aware of? What choices do I have? And what can I choose that will actually change this? Everything that doesn't allow me to perceive, know, be, and receive it, destroy and uncreate it. Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and poc, all 100, shorts, boys, povads, creations, bases, and beyonds. So when Gary said that thing yesterday, one of the things I realized for myself was I'd always tried to find the big choice or get to something, let's say with, again, getting out of judgment, liking yourself more, committing to your life, having something different financially, getting to something different in your relationship, is looking for that one big choice that's going to change it, rather than it being an ongoing awareness of the choices that you can make to always get to more of what you're asking for. See, even with this conversation in getting out of judgment, consciousness includes everything, including judgment. So it's not as if, oh my God, now I'm never going to have any judgments. No, you can still have judgments, but you can have an awareness of that's not necessarily going to create what it is that I'm asking for. So in this topic of what could change in your life if you got out of judgment of your body, what could change if you got out of judgment of your body? How much more would you like you? If you liked you and were an allowance of you. So an allowance of you is not perfection. An allowance of you is not looking for the right version, or, the judgment-free version, or the version you see other people seeing you as. Allowance, knowing that you're an allowance of everything about you. You're an allowance of all the things that you would like to change that don't seem to change. You're an allowance of all the things that you have judgments of. You can just be present with you. Okay. Do you ever talk and then kind of hear yourself in your own head and just hear blah, 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 blah? That's how I kind of feel a lot of the times. I'm just like blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 pock and pod, blah. Yeah. Well, so has a similar energy to when you invite me to be more kind to me. Yeah. And, one of the things that for me that has been, it's been an interesting journey especially over the last few years, is having that kindness for myself, because I don't know about you, but I really used to, kindness for me, or what I thought kindness was avoiding everything that I judged as terrible and wrong and bad and evil about myself, so that I could actually get to some sense of space, rather than look to, wait a minute, is that really my point of view? Is that really is that really my point of view about me? And some of the things that kindness for me had to start showing up as was looking at all of the things that I didn't want to look at, getting present with all the things in my life that I was trying to keep hidden from myself. So What have you defined kindness as for you that keeps you hiding everything else that doesn't match what you've defined it as? Everything that is, well, you destroy and uncreate it all. Right and wrong, good and bad, POD and POC, all 100, shorts, boys, perverts, creations, bases, and beyonds. My goodness. Can you talk more about kindness to self? Yeah, well, kindness with yourself is seeing you as everything that you are. Not having to exclude any of it because it doesn't match what you've decided you should be. And for me, I mean, early on in my sobriety, I I had to look at some things about myself and what I'd been choosing that I really did not want to look at. Where I was mean, where I was deceitful, where I was just being a dick, basically. And they were the things I was just like, oh my goodness, I don't want to look at those. I especially don't want to talk about those in the world because how are people going to see me? I had to start. Kindness for me was recognizing that the way I saw me, the way I see myself had to become more valuable than the way that the world sees me. So, how many of you would be willing to have that? What if kindness for you was about allowing what your awareness of yourself is to be more valuable to you than how the world sees you? Right and wrong, good and bad, POD and POC, all 100, shorts, boys, perverts, creations, bases, and beyonds. You think it takes age and life experience? Not necessarily. I think it's the age and the life experience that is doing us, that has put most of you where you are right now. Go back to when you're a 3-year-old and start getting happy again and playing and having fun and not judging your body, actually listening to it and liking yourself. Yeah. And that was isn't that interesting? But people will tell you, no, you have to live your life and gain experience you know, and learn and do all of these things, which is the idea that everything exists outside of you. But notice the access that you had to your energetic awareness when you're a little kid. Notice the way that you were with your body and played and interacted with the world around you when you're a little kid. What would it be like to live your life from that space now? And rather than have to work at everything, like even with getting out of judgment, in changing your finances, in having a better relationship, in having a different possibility with your body, in creating the life that you would truly like to be living, what if it became more about play? So you in each and every moment are engaged with the world around you by being present and being in question, not, oh my God, what do I have to do today? Not, oh my God, what do I have to fulfill for others today? Or what do I have to show up as today? Or how am I seen today? Or any of those other things. What if being present in each moment was you being the gift that you are? And what if that's also having kindness for you? So, I had so many other things that I was going to talk about today, and I can't remember any of them. How does it get any better than that? Oh my goodness. So just to Okay, so I think we're about done for today. I highly suggest, again, go and listen to the live that Dane did. It's really cool. Um, okay, so I wonder if you guys would be willing to allow me to contribute to you in a way that I have no real words on. I have no real words on how to speak to this part. But basically, what if you could get What if you could get really present with the areas of your life that you have judgment? Okay, so over the next day or so, just kind of being there with it, and but not looking at it from this perspective of I have judgment with it. So if it's something going on with whatever it is that you have going on, either with your body and in your life, rather than looking at it and being like, oh my God, I have so much judgment in this area, being with what's underneath the judgment, being with the energy of what it actually is, and just being there with it, present with it. And with this sense of, and a question in your world of what would kindness for me be with regards to this? Because if, like, in with that area, when did it start? Whose point of view did you buy as your point of view, align and agree with, or resist and react to, or lock into your world that keeps you believing that this is real and true for you? And also, what have you decided is unchangeable about this that is actually changeable? What if you could give yourself the space just to allow everything in your life right now just to be there? Okay, rather than having to change it, what if I could just be me and allow it to change? What's it going to take for this to show up different? So somebody's putting, the feelings as if I'm a failure and a lost case. Where's the kindness for you in that? And how much of that feel like I'm a failure, feel like I'm a lost case? How much of it that is a manipulation to get others around you to create your life for you? I had this thing with years ago. I was doing drama and I was just being a total drama queen. Oh my goodness. Oh, nothing works. And I'm a failure. I'm a lost case. And I was doing total drama, and I was with Gary Douglas. And he looked at me and he said, I have a question. Are you choosing all of that so that you'll get other people to create your life for you? As soon as he said it, it just lightened my world. I just laughed. And I was like, holy shit, yes. And I didn't even realize I was doing it. And see, for me, I realized instantaneously in that moment, I was like, holy shit, I grew up around people like that. I grew up around people that would use pain and suffering as a way of getting other people to create their life for them. I was like, wow, I bought that shit as if that's creation. Here's what you do next when you get a sense of something like that you've been choosing. Everything that I did to make that real and true for me, destroy and uncreate it. Whenever you get to something that's not true for you, recognize that now is the point you can actually choose what is. And just get, you know what? Done. Pock and pod, right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all 100, shorts, boys, perverts, creations, bases, and beyonds. And if you've got something like that that is continuously showing up and has an intensity to it, is it yours? When something seems so real and so impossible to change, 99% of the times it's when it's not yours. So, okay, everything I did to buy this is mine, pock and pod. And on another note, if you guys would like some more awareness on manipulation, we have the Idiot's Guide to Manipulation coming up next week, which is going to be awesome. 3 calls and lots of tools to actually use manipulation as a source for creation in your life. Oh, my goodness. Okay. All right, beautiful people. Well, I don't know if I have any more words for today. So there we go. And I am grateful for you guys being here. I will see you all next week. What else is possible you have never considered? How much fun can you have? And what can you choose today that's just light and fun for you? What if you started choosing a lot more of what lightens your world up and a lot less of the judgments and the shitty stuff that makes you heavier and not like yourself? What could you choose today that will allow you to like you more? Bye bye.